Most people aren't tired because life is heavy. They are tired because they never stop trying to become. They wake up already behind, already measuring themselves, already asking silently, "Am I enough yet?" They try to think better thoughts. They try to visualize harder. They try to fix what feels broken inside them. And for a moment, there is hope. But then the same cycles return, the same delays, the same emotional gravity pulling them back to where they started. This is not failure. This is feedback. Because effort, when it comes from lack, does not create change. It reinforces identity. And identity is the only thing reality responds to. Let me ask you something. Not as motivation, but as truth. What if the reason nothing truly shifts is not because you're doing it wrong, but because you are trying at all? You were conditioned to believe that struggle equals value, that force equals progress, that pushing proves worthiness. But effort made from the assumption of not yet can only ever reproduce not yet. Trying to change your life from the identity of someone who is incomplete keeps you locked in motion without transformation. I call this illusory effort, movement without alignment, action without authority, doing without being. Real change does not begin when you double your effort. It begins the moment you stop pushing and quietly ask, who is the one trying so hard to change? Everything you experience flows from one silent source, not your goals, not your affirmations, not your intentions, but your assumed identity, the unspoken conclusion you hold about who you are. Reality is not solid. It only appears that way. The world you call 3D is not the origin. It is the response. A mirror, not a judge. A mirror, not a reward system. A mirror that does not negotiate. It reflects what you occupy. If the inner assumption says, I am always struggling, life echoes effort, resistance, delay. If the inner assumption says, I am supported, support emerges, quietly, naturally, often without drama. You do not manifest what you desire. You manifest what feels normal to you. This is why force fails. Because force usually comes from an identity that still believes something is missing. And the mirror, faithful, neutral, exact, reflects that belief perfectly. Change the identity, and reality has no option but to follow. Not because it wants to, but because it must. Doubt often disguises itself as intelligence. It sounds rational. It sounds cautious. It pretends to protect you. But doubt is not wisdom. It is conditioning, a mental reflex trained to keep you within familiar boundaries. Here is the shift that dissolves its power. You are not required to obey every thought that arises. Thoughts are not commands. They are suggestions shaped by past identity. The moment you believe every thought is you, the prison closes. Freedom begins when you observe without identification. When doubt appears, do not wrestle it. Do not suppress it. Do not try to replace it with forced positivity. Simply notice, this belongs to an old version of me, and gently, without effort, return to the state you choose. Mastery is not control of thought. It is non-identification. In the physical world, time looks linear. Past, present, future. But consciousness does not move in lines. It moves in states. When you enter the state of it is already done, time collapses. Waiting ends. And understand this clearly. Waiting is not neutral. Waiting implies separation. It says, what I want exists somewhere I am not. Certainty removes distance. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is not excitement. It is calm, stable, ordinary. It feels like something you no longer need to check on. That quiet neutrality is the signal. The state has been entered. And once entered, the outcome is inevitable, not forced, not rushed, but unavoidable. The outer world may still display contrast, old patterns, delayed confirmation, residual echoes of the past. This does not mean you failed. It means the mirror is recalibrating. Do not fight appearances. Reaction pulls you back into the old identity. Instead, adjust inward. Return to the state. The world does not need to change first. You do. And the moment you stop demanding proof, proof arrives naturally. This is not giving up. This is authority. Now, slow down. Really slow down. Not because something is wrong, but because nothing is. There is nothing to fix, nothing to chase, nothing to force into existence. No version of you needs to be repaired. No future version needs to be reached. No invisible finish line is waiting for you to prove your worth. Just presence, just awareness, just being. And notice how the mind resists this moment. Notice how it wants instructions, methods, steps. That resistance is not a flaw. It is simply the old identity searching for relevance. But here is the truth. Most people were never taught. You were never meant to become powerful. You were meant to remember that you already are. Power was never something you lacked. It was something you forgot while trying to earn it. So let these words settle, not in your thoughts, not in your beliefs, but in your body. Let them land beneath language. I am settled. I am grounded. I am no longer waiting, not because circumstances changed, but because I did. And this distinction changes everything. Most people wait for life to give them permission to relax. They wait for money to arrive, for clarity to appear, for proof to show up. But waiting is a state, and states create outcomes. When you wait, you assume separation. When you wait, you confirm distance. When you wait, you declare, it is not here yet. So instead, you choose, not with effort, not with force, but with identity. I am choosing my state. I am remaining. I am allowing life to reorganize itself around me. Notice the difference. You are not pushing reality. You are no longer negotiating with it. You are no longer checking, testing, or scanning for signs. You are occupying, and occupation is authority. This is not affirmation. Affirmation tries to convince. Affirmation repeats from uncertainty. Affirmation hopes repetition will replace doubt. This is recognition. Recognition remembers what was always true. Recognition does not shout. It does not demand. It does not explain itself. It simply is, and recognition is the highest form of manifestation because it removes the one thing blocking everything else: resistance. When you recognize a state, you no longer seek confirmation. And when you stop seeking confirmation, confirmation appears naturally, quietly, effortlessly, often in ways you did not expect, but always in ways that match the state you chose. This is why calm is so powerful. Calm means there is nothing to chase. Calm means there is nothing to defend. Calm means the outcome no longer owns you. And from calm, reality reorganizes. Not instantly, not dramatically, but inevitably. Because consciousness leads and circumstances follow. Now take a breath. Not to relax, not to visualize, just to be here. Feel the difference between effort and presence, between striving and allowing, between becoming and remembering. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not missing anything. The only shift was identity. And now that identity has returned home. If this resonates, comment below. I am. Not for validation, not to be seen, not to prove understanding, but as a declaration. A quiet one, a grounded one, a final one. And if you feel the pull to go deeper, beyond techniques, beyond effort, beyond doing? Into being itself, subscribe to the second channel. We don't build there. We don't fix. We don't chase. We don't optimize. We remain. Because circumstances obey consciousness, delay is preparation, and everything changes the moment you stop trying and start being.